And we're live with another episode of BS Busters. I'm joined by Jewel, Moonstar, and Kanoshi. I will let the lady introduce herself first. So here we go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the BS Busters and the Lloyd podcast. I am Joy Eli Moonstar, and we got plenty of stuff to talk about, including a little bit of Sony, a little bit of Nintendo. Though I'm not sure if Ubisoft's taking the cake this round.
Well, I mean, Ubisoft has been messing up, and we were going to talk about it last week, but I mean earlier this week, Wednesday. But I decided to change my mind because I can do that because I'm a human being. And human beings are allowed to change their mind. So basically, I guess we should dive right into it. Kanoshi will introduce himself when he gets back. Um, so basically, Ubisoft, what did they do to cause this angst? Well,
This is Kanoshi Abominito. Here to say that I watched State of Play, so you didn't have to.
I didn't watch it anyway because I was like, there's nothing they're going to show that's really going to be interesting to me.
I watched it. There was only like 2 games I was interested in. Which, you know,
Hey, 2 is better than 0.
Of course, for the,
Yeah, so
yeah.
so basically, so here's the Ubisoft news that came out. Yet another Ubisoft executive has left the company after several employees include him of sexual harassment and misconduct. Now, I'm going to read this so people will understand what I'm saying.
Oh, brother, what did they do?
So basically, it was Tommy Francois, who served as Ubisoft's vice president of editorial and creative services, left the company last week, Business Insider confirmed, after confirming in an internal email from Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot. Although Guillemot didn't comment on the reason for Francois' departure, it came just a week after Business Insider recounted reports from both current and former Ubisoft employees who said that the executive would comment on female colleagues' appearances and inappropriately massage coworkers. He also discussed masturbating during a 2016 business trip to Montreal, the employees told Business Insider. Francois oversaw the creative direction of a variety of studio franchises, including Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and Far Cry. It's unclear who has taken over the critical position Francois held, and the company did not immediately respond to a Digital Trends request for comment on his departure and ultimate replacement. Francois is just the latest in a string of Ubisoft executives to leave the company following claims of widespread sexual harassment and abuse at the studio. Last month, Ubisoft Chief Creative Officer Sergei Haskuit resigned following her sexual harassment allegations, along with the Ubisoft Canadian Studios Chief Yannis Mallet and Human Resources Head Cecile Cornette and others.
Hey, there's a female that was involved in the sexual harassment ring.
Oh yeah, I mean let's keep it real. Jeffrey Epstein had that lady who was his procurer. So I mean, look, listen.
It doesn't surprise me. A lot of your entertainment bigwigs usually have female pimps, but
I mean, haven't you watched? No, go ahead.
They
No,
don't
go ahead.
usually get center stage.
I mean, haven't you watched The Handmaid's Tale, where like this lady is held down by one of the other handmaids so that this dude can rape her and get her pregnant? I mean, look, listen. There's no monopoly on fucked up shit. Just men being the primary people in charge of fucked up shit. A lot of the women in tribal communities that are forced to undergo female circumcision, it's other women making them do that. It's not the men.
Which is
honestly,
just as crazy as you expect it to be.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's like I don't, which I mean that tells you how depraved a society is, where they're like, no, I don't want a woman who actually enjoys having sex. That's terrible. You're a sad individual. So basically, Francois worked closely. Back to the thing. Francois worked closely with Haskuit, who reportedly had the final say on whether games would move forward or not. Guimard said after reports surfaced last month that the company was really sorry. I mean, it's in quotes. To those who came forward and shared their stories, he promised to change Ubisoft for the better. In quotes, and said,
Excuse me, I see golden parachutes that way,
"Oh
and
yeah, well
they're leaving.
these people got managed to resign and probably got a golden parachute and to cash out their stock options. You know what? The people who basically were forced to leave this company because they weren't believed or were ostracized to the point where they had to leave got not a goddamn thing. But that's okay. It's okay because Ubisoft is changing for the better. Even though this shit's been going on for like 10 years at least. Yeah, yeah, that's it. So basically, and so he promised that Ubisoft was going to change for the better, and said the studio had hired global consulting firm Accenture to launch an investigation into how widespread the issues are. The results from that investigation are due in late September. In other statements, Guimard has also promised to overhaul the creative division Hasquet and Francois oversaw, and acknowledged the company had fallen short in its obligation to guarantee a safe and inclusive workplace environment for its employees. And while he was ticking off these certain points so that it sounded like he was doing something. These are all action words that makes things sound better than they actually are. Looking ahead, Ubisoft plans to build an environment that its employees, partners, and communities can be proud of. One that reflects Ubisoft's values and that it is safe for everyone, Guimard said.
You probably heard me have a coughing fit.
I mean, that's just a load of bullshit, really. As a matter of fact, Guimard and everyone else involved with this, y'all fucked up. Y'all fucked up so much that the only thing I can say is, you know you done fucked up.
I mean, it's as obvious as seeing a giant behind a little tree.
Yeah.
It's that obvious. I mean, the only thing that tree is going to cover is the giant's dong. If lucky.
So here's all I'm gonna say. If you think for a moment that Ubisoft is
changing for the better, then we got a bridge to sell you.
Well, I mean, because here's the thing. This shit's been going on for 10 years. Think about it. Okay, the people who were doing this behavior, managed to rise to very high-level positions in the company, which means this isn't something. Okay, people don't get to be the top, be the top person of a whole division, and then they just start being dicks. They'd been doing this shit for years. And they were excused for it. It was swept under the carpet. It was swept under the rug.
In other words, this is failing upwards, isn't it?
Well, no, because here's the thing. As long as it's like that thing that we read weeks ago about how as long as they were making money, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean, people wonder why Ubisoft's games feel so much the same. Like every fucking Ubisoft game feels the same, and they're not I find them to be boring. Most of Ubisoft's games, I'm like, this shit is so fucking boring and uninteresting. Like I play a Ubisoft game for about except for maybe Child of Light, and even that game didn't really wow me like some other people did. But most of the other Ubisoft games, even Mushroom Kingdom Battle. What made that game interesting was the interesting take on Mario, and it turned into a tactical turn-based strategy game. But I mean, even that, I'm Ubisoft's games are just uninteresting to me. Ubisoft is a mid-tier gaming company that basically grew too big. They should have stayed being mid-tier because their games are mid-tier. There isn't a single Ubisoft game where I'm like, man, that game just blew me out the water. In a good way.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, anything you guys want to say about Ubisoft before we move on to the Nintendo data thing?
If anything, I'm glad I don't have Ubisoft games.
Yeah, I have a few that I got for free, but I'm not how can I put this? I'm not, like, I have them for free because they were giving them away for free, but I'm not exactly, how can I put this? I don't play them very often. Like, the only game that I've put like some time into playing is Watch Dogs 2, and that game held my interest for about 3 hours, which is longer than any other Ubisoft game. Like, Far Cry 3 is boring to me. Far Cry Blood Dragon is boring to me. Far Cry 4, boring. Far Cry 5, boring. Like, Far Cry doesn't, like, the Far Cries that I like are the Far Cries from back in the day, like Far Cry 1, Far Cry 2, Far Cry Primal. Like, I like the Far Cries that are more just a first-person shooter, and you're not going to a watchtower, fight your way to the top in order to unlock more shit. Like, you know, that's neither here nor there. You get what I'm saying. That being said, here's the Nintendo thing. We're going to talk about data. Okay, so basically, okay, I'm going to tell you, it's not enough. Before I'm going to preface this with this. It's not enough to look at the numbers. You have to look at the overall picture of how these numbers are forged. Okay, so here we go. Okay, the Nintendo Switch, which is Nintendo's current console, the Nintendo Switch is sitting at 61.44 million units sold. That's everywhere. That's each territory. And software is 4,006.67 million units. That's respectable, right?
It's not bad.
It's not bad. The 3DS is at 75.87 million units sold, with software at 384 million and 7.07 million units sold. So that's not very good. But basically, a lot of the people who would be buying games for the 3DS jumped onto the Switch, because for most people, the function denotes the form for the end user, and for a lot of people, for them, the Switch is not a home console; it's a handheld, because they use it like a handheld. They aren't using it as a home console. That's just the way it is. Okay, it's like the PSP. You could plug a PSP into a TV, the OG Gen 1 PSP into a TV. Same thing with a Vita. But yeah, you could plug it into a TV and play it like that, but most people were using it as a handheld. And that's basically the Switch for a lot of the market has basically taken the place commercially of the Vita. The Wii U had sold 13.56 million units and 103.21 million units of software. So really, the Wii U had the highest attach rate. But, you know, it had low sales but high attach rate. So then we get to the Wii and the 3DS, and the DS. Now, here's the thing, okay? Okay, the Wii had sold 101.63 million units, and the software it sold was 921.85 million units. So basically, for every person who owned a Wii, on average, had at least 9 games for the system. Okay, that's basically what that means. All right. Now for the DS. The DS sold 154.02 million units, and the software was 948.71 million units of software. So basically, like, essentially speaking, the DS was their king hardware, okay, and the Wii is their king console. Now here's the thing, okay, the Switch. For functional proportions, okay, yes, this is amazing. Nintendo sold so much hardware and so many units, but really, if you look at the overall the numbers, these numbers aren't that great.
I said they're not bad, but they're at least not massively impressive.
No, especially when you think about the fact that, for all intents and purposes, the Switch is essentially a combination of their handheld and their home console. It's a hybrid console, but basically it's the two divisions joined together. These are actually, if you really think about it, these are not really great numbers. If you really think about it in terms of, like, you combine your two divisions. Because here's the thing, yeah, this is a nice number, but when you look at what the Wii and the DS were doing, this ain't shit.
Yeah.
This is... so really, I mean, and, you know, the cost of game development has gone up from the Wii era, when basically the Wii was... They were using the same engines and shit they did for the GameCube for the Wii. And same thing with the DS. Well, the DS was new hardware, but you get what I'm saying? So when people are like, man, look at these sales, not really that impressive in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's kind of like going from excellent to meh or okay.
I mean, listen, it's good for this era, but like I don't see the Switch outselling the Wii, in terms of hardware or software sold.
I don't think we're gonna see any of those like Wii or PS2 numbers. I mean,
No, I don't see this.
PS4.
And I don't.
PS4. I mean, Sony's touting their numbers like there's something special, but again, they have like.
But most
people.
people, yeah. But the thing, most people are buying PS4s for the streaming opportunities and maybe 2 or 3 games. They're not buying a huge amount of games. Like I have 3 games on my PS4, only one of which is an actual dedicated PS4 game. So the other 2 are old shit that I wanted to play again. So, you know. But basically they suck. That's what I'm saying. All right.
How blunt?
I mean, in the grand. Okay, look, it's fine. Okay, look, the sales are fine for what they are right now, but they aren't.
They aren't highest level.
Yeah, I mean, like the people who are like acting like they're getting their Nintendo checks in the mail. Like, man, this is the best shit ever. Not really.
With me, I just say they're doing a good job.
I mean, I don't like it's like here's the thing, okay? It's kind of like that old adage, you know, statistics don't lie, but liars use statistics.
That one's a rare one to me.
Yeah, the whole point of it is that statistics don't lie, but liars use statistics. So, essentially speaking, like people, it's not enough to quote a statistic. You have to understand how those statistics came about and what they mean in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, if someone just told you, yeah, the Switch has sold, you know, 65.x million units and they've sold 400 and something, well, that's nice. Let's look at that in comparison to their other consoles. So yes, it's doing better. It's doing much better than the Wii U. Not doing better than the Wii. Not doing better than the DS. And this is after Nintendo combined their 2 divisions, which I think was a fuck up of monumental proportions. I know they did it in order to cut down on development costs because development was getting expensive. But the thing is like, you know, if you have 2 consoles that are selling gangbusters, like if one isn't doing, you have something to fall back on. If the Switch doesn't do well, Nintendo's like, well, shit. Now, of course, Nintendo has so much money piled up that they can afford to fuck up. But the people are like, man, the Switch is great. It's doing great. It's like, not really. It's doing okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If the Wii and DS were essentially like solid A's, and the Wii U was a F. Well, no, not an F. Let's say a D. It was a D. The Switch is like a C. It's not, it's not, it's not like, oh, this is terrible, but it's not like the best shit ever. So, you have to understand the overall context of the numbers and not just the numbers themselves. That's my point. To wash the taste of that reality check out of our mouths, Animaniacs! It's getting rebooted. It's hitting Hulu in November.
What?
What?
That's right. Animaniacs is getting rebooted, and it's hitting Hulu in November.
The if they're redoing the Animaniacs,
They are.
I could tell. Yeah, they're gonna water this deep down.
I don't think they will. Well, it depends on who's going to be involved with it.
Same voice actors?
I think so.
One could hope.
It's going to have 13 episodes, and we don't know anything about it right now, but I hope it works. Because right now on Hulu, they have the original Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, Elmira, and Tiny Toon Adventures. So
I haven't seen that.
I hope they bring it back. Because here's the thing that made Warner Brothers, Animaniacs so great was the writing. The writing was really good.
I remember that Elmira. She was from Tiny Toons, right? The Elmira character.
Yeah, but she also appeared in Animaniacs because the same studio made both cartoons. So that you'd have crossover.
I remember her being very annoying.
Yeah, because basically she would hug and squeeze the cute Animaniac character. She'd basically get a pet and smother them to death and kill them. Like, it was actually yeah, it was ironically incredibly dark for a kids show, because basically she would basically have a pet and smother it so much it would die. And that, I mean, it was supposed to be funny, but that's actually horrific. Like,
yeah.
Except I remember the episode where she went on a date with Montana Max.
What?
And who was basically like their version of Yosemite Sam, Montana Max, and he like went on a date with her, and she was insane, and he was just getting annoyed the entire time, and he's like, finally, he's like, well, I mean, like, here's the thing, she was going on a date with her, and she was just like, she's an airhead, but it wasn't like, here's the thing, Myra is an airhead, and she like. But her malice doesn't come from, she's not an evil character. She's just totally, she's oblivious.
She's not the brightest one.
She's oblivious. She's an airhead. She's oblivious to the damage she's causing, but she's not evil. So basically she's annoying Montana Max, and at the end of the cartoon, he walks her to her door, and she goes inside. He's got this thing of like seltzer water, and he's gonna spray her in the face with it. He's shaking it up. He's like, I'm gonna get her. And she comes out and she lays a big wet one on him, kisses the shit out of him. And
he got a wet one, all right.
Yeah, and basically what happens is he sets off the seltzer behind him. Now that I'm older, I realize that was a double entendre. Like, he prematurely
double entendres.
He prematurely. Now I'm thinking about it. It was a premature ejaculation when she kissed him. Like, as a kid, the joke is he was gonna spray her in the face with seltzer water, and he shook it up, and he couldn't hold it, and it came out when she kissed him because he was surprised by it. As an adult, that's the type of really good writing you had in Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. Like, as a kid, you can enjoy it, but then as an adult, you can watch it and get, oh, you guys got that past the censors. That's the type of smart shit that they did, the cartoons we had when we were kids, So basically, them bringing back Animaniacs, if they have that level of writing again, I'm down with it. I mean, I would be happy to see Slappy Squirrel and the Good Feathers, which was a play on Goodfellas, and Buttons and Mittens.
Buttons and Mittens, I consider that physical abuse humor.
Yeah, well, basically, Buttons and Mittens was basically a play on Buster Keaton and the Keystone Cops. Like, that's basically what it was a play on, because, like, not Buttons and Mittens, forgot that little girl's name. The one who just always said, who never called her parents mama and daddy. It was always, hello, pretty lady. Why don't you call me mother or mama or mom? Okay, I love you, pretty lady. Goodbye. she'd go on some adventure and Buttons would try and save her. Like, I remember the episode where like these zombies come back to life. And Buttons has to save the baby and send the zombies back into the grave. He's like, break in case of zombie invasion, and he breaks this glass and he turns into Michael Jackson from Thriller. He dances the zombies back to the graveyard. It's hilarious. Like Buttons is standing upright and he's doing the Michael Jackson dance. He's got a little Jerry curl. It's awesome. Like, you'd have to be of my generation to get that joke. But anyway, it was a great show. They're bringing it back. Enough said.
I doubt it's gonna have that good writing.
Well, I mean, one can hope. One can hope. It's November 20th. Here's the thing. If they keep the same opening song, it's time for Animaniacs. I wonder what type of shit they're gonna have to say at the end now, because back in the day it was Animani totally and Bill Clinton plays the sax. It's been what, 20-something years, 25 years now? Over 25 years. It's been years. How are they gonna fucking follow that shit up now with the shit we got going on right now? I don't know, but hopefully it's gonna be awesome.
Boy.
And it's on Hulu, which means that
if it's on premium Hulu, oh boy, I'm gonna have to wait.
Well, I mean, Hulu, well, not the free Hulu. The basic Hulu has commercials. I have the premium Hulu because I'm not. After cutting the cord and basically, well, for most of the shit I have cut the cord. I have some premium channels because I like to watch some sports. But like for the rest of my shit is I have the premium streaming services, and I'm like, after not having to deal with commercials, like when I watch normal TV and a commercial comes on, I get mad. I'm like, I don't want to see this shit. Can I skip past it?
I'm the more tolerant one apparently.
Nah.
I can actually tolerate commercials.
After
I do call them out.
Let me put it this way: after not having to have commercials for most of the shit that I watch, when a commercial comes up, it's like, no, I can't go back. I got to keep on going forward. It's so next little bit of news.
And this is the reason. And if anybody's think about it, we're on YouTube. Remember that line.
No, I hate. Look, I'm gonna keep it real. I watch YouTube with ad block on my PC. I do. I don't watch commercials. I don't. The only time I watch a commercial on YouTube is if it is a paid promotion where it's in the video and it's not like a commercial that's through the YouTube algorithm. Then I have to. It's like, well, shit. I guess I gotta take that hit. But if it's like something that can be blocked with ad block, I'll do it. I don't want to look. I do not want to watch a fucking commercial because here's the thing. Anything I really want, I'll just go and get it. Like when I go to the store, I didn't know they had that. Like I didn't know they had a new Burger King's thing out because I don't watch commercials.
Yeah, I'll figure it out at some point. I'll learn about it through some other way.
I don't find out about new shit until I drive past the place that has it and they're advertising it. That's when I find out. So, there we go. All right then. So, next little bit of news.
We got what?
We got PlayStation. PlayStation Experience. Kenoshi watched it so that we don't have to. So if you could tell us about that disappointing ass PlayStation Experience, we'd be much appreciated. What?
Like this was the first PlayStation Experience I've seen, and boy are they bad. Like at least this one, and there's really only 2 games. It's a new Crash Bandicoot game, which seems to heavily be borrowing from a new ukulele game. Uh, with some of the dimensional stuff that they're doing with the levels, how they're kind of changing the levels a little bit. So
Well, I
yeah,
mean, if you're gonna steal, if you're gonna steal, if you're gonna steal, stealing from, if you're gonna steal, stealing from Rare is like the best shit ever. I mean, let's keep it real. If you're gonna steal, stealing from Rare, because I know everyone's like, well, Rare is owned by Microsoft. That shit at Microsoft's not Rare. Platonic is more rare than the Rare that we get right now. So basically, you know, I mean, if you're gonna steal steal from the best. So go ahead.
and there was a game about where you play as an archer and you're running through like the fields or whatever. And the guy who was describing it sounded so bored, and he was like the lead creator of the project. He sounded so bored while he was describing it. I was like, this game looks kind of interesting. You should be at least a little bit excited. There was little to no enthusiasm when it came to some of the ways they were describing their games.
Well, you know what it is, right? If you're releasing a game for the PS4 right now, when the next shit is about to come out this fall, it's like, you know, your shit's gonna get devoured by the other shit coming out. But continue, Kenoshi. Sorry to cut you off.
And let's see. Kind of, I guess the only really enthusiasm was for Spelunky 2, but that's probably coming out on everything. And
Spelunky 2?
Crash Bandicoot is coming out on everything. And then there was that Breath of the Wild game. Everybody thought looked like Breath of the Wild. Like it looks kind of, to me, it looks slightly more interesting. It's supposed to be like a JR, an action. It's called Ganesh or something like that. That's also coming to everything. So I don't know. Could they get better in the next few years? Possibly. I know they were trying to. I don't really mind if they're, I don't really mind if they're copying Nintendo with their directs, but have a little more enthusiasm in the games you're describing. Or, just, I don't know.
It's like you're trying to sell your product, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like how Nintendo does it. They have a trailer, they move on, they have a trailer. Usually when somebody's just describing a game, they seem somewhat excited about it,
Yeah.
It's not like it's just, well, here's this game I'm making.
Yeah, it's like,
Hope
dude,
you guys play it.
you're trying to sell me on your product. How the fuck? If you're not enthusiastic about your shit, how am I going to be enthusiastic about it? Yeah, yeah. So, I get what you're saying. Anything else you want to add about the PlayStation experience?
Not really. I guess the last game they showed with Godfall, it was like, my reaction was another game using the Souls combat system. Pass. Don't we have enough of those? The problem with me, if they made a Souls game, like combat wise, that played like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, I would be really into it. I would find that really interesting if they
They play like
if there were the Souls games. if there's a Souls game, a Souls game that played like it, but this sluggish, boring combat that for the life of me, I just don't understand.
Yeah, the game doesn't look very fun. Like
I mean, I've seen people. I mean, I've tried playing. I played Demon Souls when that came out, and is it something about the combat systems? Like, a third-person action RPG shouldn't feel like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, your character moves with a weight that's unnecessary. You know?
Yeah.
Like they've been put on slow.
Well, I mean, it's like okay, if you're wearing heavy ass armor in a even when you're not wearing heavy ass okay, if you like, because the game is based on having a sense of encumbrance is a real thing. So if you wear heavy ass armor, yeah, it'll protect you from damage, but you're gonna move like you're wearing heavy ass armor. If you wear lighter armor, yeah, you'll move a bit faster, but you can't take a lot of hits. And if you're playing a game like that, because they're trying to go for a more quote unquote realistic style of combat, like I get what they're doing, because they want you to feel like when you do power up and begin to understand gameplay systems, all that shit, you're supposed to feel like, man, you have that power growth. The problem is that, I mean, the reason you play video games is to fulfill that power fantasy or to do something that you can't normally do. You're not playing video games just for the sake of
You're not playing a simulation.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, personally, I don't want to play a video game so that I can experience a victim simulator where everything can kill me.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do that, I mean, there are games where everything can kill you. Then you have to give people a way to basically kind of
get through it.
Yeah. But that's just me. Anyone else have
I was about to ask, is there anything else in the PlayStation showcase?
Nah, I was hoping for some kind of surprise, but
see, that's where you messed up, man. It's PlayStation. They ain't gonna.
At least, I mean, with Nintendo, you get a few directs with no huge surprises, but I mean, I feel like even the minor surprises in the Nintendo Direct, it's like, even if I'm not into it, it's like, oh, I know a lot of people that are gonna love this. I don't know.
I mean, let's
keep trying.
Let's keep it real, okay? I'm about to say some shit that's gonna piss some people off, okay? Even though that last Direct Nintendo did was not very good, you did. Come on, don't be cringing. It wasn't that good. It wasn't. It wasn't that good. It was not that good, okay? It wasn't terrible.
At worst.
It wasn't terrible. Okay, look, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that good. Okay, was it Wii Music bad? No. Okay, it was not Wii Music bad. Okay, but it was not even close to being acceptable as, oh, okay, but it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't, it wasn't, if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it a 70. It wasn't, I don't know about you guys, but if I came home to my parents with a test and I had a 70, my parents would look at the test and say, "You almost failed. Why are you fucking up?" Okay, so like I would basically say, it's not that good, but it's not great either. But even Nintendo's shitty 70% Direct, you still got some information that was kind of viable. Like, oh, well, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is being worked on. We're getting a remake of Shin Megami Tensei 3. Okay, that's cool. Like, you're getting information that is viable. You got, if you're a Shin Megami Tensei fan, you got something out of it. The PlayStation experience, it's like no one gives a fuck.
Trying at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the comments, and they weren't too kind. They were like, "This is boring. This sucks. Skip."
It's like they do not care. It's like they don't give a fuck about their own. And I know it's the PS4, but
I'm not even excited for that. I wasn't even, there was some PS5 stuff they showed off. I wasn't even super excited about that either. It's just like, well, whatever. Coming out, I guess. Because I think some of the, like, it's called, I forgot what the name of the game is called, but it's like, they showed this game, it's supposed to be, yeah, PS5 launch title, and it's just kind of like, this is, this game looks like it can run perfectly fine on a PS4.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of like how PlayStation was about, well, okay, you can use all your peripherals on the PS4 except on the PS5, your PS4 peripherals, except you can't use, it's like, come on, man.
Really?
For real? Like, I can use a fucking fight pad, I can use a fucking, all this shit, but this one thing, it's like, it smacks the
That's
bullshit
trolling.
to me.
I was gonna call it trolling more than BS, but
No, it's called we want to make money and we're gonna fuck you over. Kind of like, look. Sony is not the only people doing this shit. Nintendo did it just this week. Okay, so look, they don't hold a monopoly on dick greedy ass moves. Okay, okay, they're everywhere.
true, but I was about to
Okay.
say that it could that they do it to a higher degree that is almost like that it's 10 miles away from the nearest gas station.
Oh yeah.
Problem.
Oh yeah. The fact that you have a console that doesn't have a digital, the fact that you have a like, okay, you have a PS5, games are not backwards compatible. Like, if you want to play your old games, you're gonna have to either pony up for their shitty ass PlayStation Now, which is not bad. PlayStation Now is not bad, but I mean, it's not bad. It's better than Nintendo's, NES and SNES library, because you just, by virtue of you having more games there of different generations than just, two. Yes, it's more expensive, and yes, Sony gets hacked all the time, but just the amount of shit there makes it a better purchase. But then you have Microsoft with their, hey, we actually virtually made our consoles backwards compatible. That's fucking awesome. If you have old games, which a lot of people do hold on to their old games, you can play your old games on your new shit. And there isn't that much of a difference between, personally, there isn't that much of a difference between, in my opinion, technologically speaking, between the PS4 and the PS5, or the Xbox One, or the Xbox 360. Like, I don't see the reason for them to just sit there and nickel and dime you with I mean, I know Sony is carrying a lot of debt, but that's not my fucking problem. They need to run their company better. Everyone's like, oh, well, we don't want the company to lose money. It's not my fucking fault. As a consumer, it's not my concern that the company I'm buying the product from does or does not make a profit. My concern is, do they make a product that I want to buy? Okay? That's where my responsibility ends. Okay? Like, I like Nintendo. It's not my fucking problem if Nintendo makes money or does not make money on a product. If they make a product that I want to buy because it appeals to my buyer sensibility, my consumer sensibilities, that's my only concern. It's not like, if they lose money, not my fucking problem. If they make money, not my fucking problem. People need to understand that. It does not matter. As a consumer, it is not your concern that the people providing that product make a money on that purchase. It's not your fucking problem. Okay? It's their problem to worry about. Okay? And once people understand that, they will have a better understanding of how this shit works. But anyway, I think we've exhausted all that. Let's get to unpopular opinions. I think we'll finish kind of early tonight because we don't have a lot of news that came out this week. So I think we can finish kind of early. So who wants to go with an unpopular opinion first? No one. No one. Okay, I guess it's me. Okay, go ahead.
I was trying to think of one because if anything, this is the kind of a weird one to me as far as I could think of it.
Okay.
That I consider music to be like the graphics, that they're in the eye of the beholder and is kind of a hard thing to actually judge, but it's a lot easier to judge as well. Basically, I consider music and art to be one of the same, as in you can't judge it by how it sounds or if it's popular. It basically is a matter of taste, and it goes along with graphics that your mileage may vary in it.
So music is subjective. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least as far as games go.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's I would say that whether or not you like the music is subjective. However, there are certain games where the music has become so entwined with that game that if you take the music out, like the music has become part of the game. Like if I'm playing a Mario game and I don't hear iconic Mario music, I'm not going to feel like I'm playing a Mario game. If I'm playing a Legend of Zelda game and I don't hear iconic Legend of Zelda music, I'm going to feel like I'm not playing a Legend of Zelda game. If I'm playing Street Fighter and the main theme of Ryu or Ken or Guile is not, those themes, I'm going to be like, am I playing the right shit?
I say music is like graphics, and your mileage may vary because some of them may be good and some of them are bad, and some of them may not flow as well as you think they do.
Well, I mean, I just think that for some games it's like that. Like some games are so some games the music isn't really a core aspect of that game. It's the gameplay. Whereas there are other games where the music is like it's entwined with the game.
Like something like Elite Beat Agents or Theorem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, music is part of the gameplay, but I mean, even with something where the music isn't part of the gameplay, like I said, like a Mario game, the music of Mario is very much entwined with that game. If you played a Mario game and it did not have that iconic style of music, it probably wouldn't. It would feel less than what a Mario game should feel like.
Yeah, actually play a Mario game with sound off to tell the difference.
It does sound a little weird. I mean, or even something is like Sonic the Hedgehog. Play Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or 2 without the music. Play it without hearing Green Hill Zone while playing that game. It takes away something from the overall game because that music was designed with those levels in mind. Or play Streets of Rage without the iconic Yuzo Koshiro music in that first level. It just doesn't feel the same. Music is it's very much a part of certain games where if it's not there, it just does not feel right. But I can see where you're coming from. Some games it is subjective, but other games it just doesn't feel right without the music. Like, I mean, that's one of the reasons I really don't like Breath of the Wild that much. It doesn't really have that classic, iconic Legend of Zelda legendary music. By and large, it really doesn't. So to me, I'm like, kind of fuck it up. People get mad when you say that. How could you say that? Like, look, everyone has their opinion. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, get out.
Hey, everybody has one.
Look, opinions are like assholes. Everyone should have at least one. At least one.
Unless reality has torn you a second one.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. If you fuck up real bad, then you get two. But anyone who tells you I don't have an opinion about something that they should at least have some type of stance on, they're full of shit. Because like having no asshole, they're full of shit.
I was gonna say, unless they are just coming into the scene, that in that case, you could excuse it for a moment.
No, not even then. Because, like I said, it's like you have no asshole. If you don't, opinions are like assholes. Everyone should have at least one. And like having no asshole, if someone says they have no opinion, just like having no asshole, they're full of shit. Okay? Everyone has some type of opinion about something.
I said that I only make the exception with people that are just coming into the topic because they are just finding out what it is.
I guess so. But anyway, so with that being said, you have an unpopular opinion, Kenoshi? Wait a second, let me get the timer. You get 60 seconds to state your unpopular opinion and defend it, and we can't say anything during those 60 seconds. Let me get the timer ready so everyone knows.
No, I don't have one for this week.
Okay, then I guess
really
so. I guess I'll go. Here's my unpopular opinion. My unpopular opinion is this. The Switch is my least most favorite Nintendo console thus far, slash handheld. Even if you judge it by the metric of it being a handheld or just a console, it's the least of all of them. I like it less than the Game Boy. I like it less than the Game Boy Color. I like it less than the Game Boy Advance or the DS or the 3DS. As far as consoles go, it's in terms of my esteem, it's less than the original Nintendo Entertainment System, aka the Famicom. I think that the Switch is an inferior console compared to the Wii U or even the Wii. And the gameplay experiences, to me, just seem like a lot of rehashes of shit that I already own on other consoles, and I'm tired of it. And that's my unpopular opinion. Okay, you can come at me.
Believe it or not, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you put it that low. But if anything, I'm actually glad somebody was able to say it in a sense that I couldn't.
Yeah,
because in a way, I will admit that I like the Switch, but it doesn't feel me like it fills me like it makes me feel happy with the Wii U. Definitely not the Wii, that's for sure. And I get annoyed as F when people say it's the best handheld.
Well, I mean, for some people, for people who use it as a handheld, it is better than a Vita. It's better than a PSP. It's better than a DS. It's better than a 3DS. I'll give it that much.
I complained about that a lot because you're basically having no protection against to save your screen from damage. You have controllers that are not as easy to work with.
Well, I mean, the whole point behind the Switch was to combine the markets of the handheld and the home console, and combine the development for handheld and home console so that they wouldn't be spending money to develop games on both systems at the same time. The problem with the Switch is that they did this. Nintendo did this. We still aren't getting a huge swath of games from them. We're getting a lot of reboots of shit that already came out. Like just this week, we're re-releasing Pikmin 3. I already have Pikmin 3. As a matter of fact, I have Pikmin 1 and 2 and 3.
I was gonna say that's some of the thing that bugs me, that I'm seeing more things that are probably trying to reach from the depths of the 3DS to be on the Switch.
I mean, even Animal Crossing, even the new Animal Crossing game. Come on, let's keep it real. Let's tear the band-aid off, okay? Let's just keep it real. That's a super 3DS game. Come on. That shit doesn't look like it belongs on a home console. That looks like a fucking 3DS game. A very nice 3DS game, but still a 3DS game. Like, if you're okay, you have a home some people, it's a home console. I don't feel like I'm playing a home console when I see people playing Animal Crossing on that system. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like I'm playing. It's like you're playing Animal. It's like you. It's basically like if you had Animal Crossing on the Game Boy Advance and you put it into a Game Boy Advance player on your GameCube. Except
Well,
like
I
it
think
up-res it a little bit.
that's the thing. It doesn't. Why it bothers me more on the. Why it bothers me more on, say, at least the PlayStation 5 stuff talked about earlier, because Sony and Microsoft are trying to be these powerhouse consoles, and Nintendo hasn't been really trying to do that. But at the same time, I can see why people would be frustrated in some of the visual qualities the Switch is putting out, especially if your main purpose is using it as a home console.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. It's like where are the games that really take advantage of what the hardware is capable of? Where are the games that take advantage of HD Rumble? Where are the games that take advantage of the portability? None of these games are here. What we've gotten out of Nintendo this year, we got Animal Crossing, which let's just keep it real, feels like a glorified 3DS game. Like it feels like the next gen version of New Leaf. And here's the thing, Animal Crossing, in terms of the amount of content they've been giving you, like little extra bennies, has been going down with each iteration after the GameCube version. Okay, you no longer, like on the GameCube, you could fucking unlock 23 full NES games on the GameCube version. Full Legend of Zelda, Legend of Zelda 2, Donkey Kong 2, Donkey Kong 3, like all these NES full NES games.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to admit that as much as I like some of these things, that as in some of the new stuff that they put in New Horizons, it doesn't feel as
Ambitious.
grandiose.
Yeah, it doesn't feel ambitious. It feels like you want to know what it feels like. It feels like a fucking live service game. That's what it feels like. It feels like an Animal Crossing MMO light.
Well, I mean, sadly,
Yeah.
that seems like where a lot of games are going.
And
Unfortunately,
and the fact that Nintendo would be like, yeah, this is great. I'm like, like when they announced it, I was like, this game. There's something about this game that's like basically making me very wary. And then when
Well,
more
the thing
shit
is-
came out, I was like, okay, yeah.
the reality is, Nintendo isn't immune to the same corruption that has
Oh yeah,
plagued the gaming industry for the past.
yeah. It's just
like
happening
decade and a
much
half.
slower. Yeah, it's just happening much slower because Nintendo moves kind of slowly about certain shit. But that's my whole thing. Okay, my whole thing isn't that it's happening. My whole thing is that it's just happening slowly, and hopefully someone will stand up and say, could we not fuck up like other people, or at least halt the downward spiral at this point. But yeah, to me, I'm not really all that into it. So yeah, we got 3 big games from Nintendo proper this year. We got Animal Crossing, which I was not impressed with. We got, let's see, Nintendo first-party Switch games this year, because first-party games,
I think we
2020.
only got Animal Crossing and Paper Mario.
King.
And Paper Mario. And Paper Mario to me was underwhelming. Animal Crossing, underwhelming. And then they had the cojones, the balls, the brass ball. No, not brass. Steel. The steel balls to resell you Pikmin 3 for $60 goddamn dollars. And then
We're gonna buy it.
not only sell you Pikmin 3 for $60 goddamn dollars, but close off the store so that you could buy Pikmin 3 on your Wii U for like $20.
So, to all the Nintendo fanboys out there, how do you like your crow? Do you like it baked, or do you like it fried?
Or in a
You know,
pie.
or in a pie. Because you're gonna be you guys are gonna be eating a lot of crow.
I
'Cause
think
remember back in the day when people were laughing at Sony and Microsoft for re-releasing games from their previous generation console.
Yeah. Well, actually,
It
Nintendo has done worse because here's the thing: if you own a PS3, you can go on the PSN on your PS3 and buy those games still. If you own, like, I'm pretty sure that if a game is cross-compatible across the PS4 and the PS5, and it's on both platforms, you can go and buy that game on the PS4. If you own a Xbox One, I'm pretty sure if you get the Sexbox, the next Xbox, and a game is on both platforms, you can buy it on either one. Nintendo literally cut it off from the old one that was like $20 so they could sell you this one for $60. That's fucking foul. I'm sorry. That is fucking foul, okay? That's foul, okay? That's just being greedy, okay?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, you know. You gotta be careful what you say because the thing is, you know, it worked. You know, they saw Microsoft and Sony release all those games.
Hey man, look at all the dumbasses who rebought Mario Kart 8 on the Switch.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I was like, there is no way on God's green earth I'm buying that shit again after I spent $60 on the base game plus $20 for both for each expansion. So I spent basically $100 on that game. Yeah, I wasn't spending another $60 to get the game that we should have gotten on the Wii U with all that extra content that we never got. I'm like, listen, do you see stupid on my forehead? But apparently there's some people who are willing to get fucked up the ass by Nintendo just because it was Nintendo doing it and not Sony and Microsoft. I said no, thank you. I said, look, no one's allowed to fuck me but my girlfriend. Okay, that's the only person allowed to fuck me. If you're Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And yet you let Epic do it.
With what? I didn't buy shit from Epic. There are only 2 games I bought from Epic. 2 that I physically went and bought, and that's because they were Epic Store exclusives, and I like the developers behind them. I bought Outer Worlds, because look, I'm gonna wait for the shittiest version of that game to hit the Switch. Why would I want to play the shittiest version of a game just because it's on the thing?
For the PC version.
Well, that's the thing. It was exclusive to the Epic Store for a year, and I didn't feel like waiting a year to play.
Yeah, and this
to
is
play the
reason
game.
why I said
and here's the thing.
Screwed.
I paid that. No, I didn't get screwed because I bought that game for $30. I did not pay full price for that game. I paid half price. That's actually pretty good.
You still bought it.
I still bought it, but I didn't pay $60 for it. Also, the second game I bought on the Epic Store was Saints Row the Third Remastered for like $20. So both of those games I didn't pay full price for, and I got them on the cheap. I didn't get fucked over. I got them cheap and did not pay full price for them. Okay, now who's stupid? Someone who paid who's
I'm not buying your BS on that one.
Who's dumber? Someone who paid Who's dumber? Someone who paid $100, $60 for the base game, and then $20 for both expansions each for both expansions for Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, and then paid $60+ plus tax for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Edition on the Switch. So basically $160. Or me, I supported Mario Kart 8, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Mario Kart franchise. I got it because I wanted to play something on my expensive ass system. I played it, I enjoyed it for what I had, but I was one of the first people. I'm like, hey man, I wish we got the battle mode, and then they added all this extra shit that should have been in the base fucking game on the next gen version, and then charge people full fucking price for it. Fuck them. Fuck them.
It is a cheap shot.
No.
A cheap shot.
You know, anyone who, that's literally the equivalent of paying your abuser to abuse you some more. and then smiling as they abuse you. Yeah, I know you were fucking around on me and gave me a STD, but I'm gonna pay you money to do it again. No, 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 no. No. No, I own two. There's only two games I bought on the Epic Store. Two that I bought. The rest of them I got for free. Look, man. Look, listen. I hate. I can't fucking stand Burger King. But if they're actually no, even if Burger King gave me a free burger, I wouldn't eat there because I found hair in my food. But I don't like Walmart. But if Walmart gives me a coupon, like if someone gives me a $50 gift certificate to Walmart, like I'm not gonna use it. It's not my money. I gotta use it. I gotta use it or lose it. What? I'm just gonna sit there. Nah, I hate this store.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use this $50
standards, buddy. Then.
Okay, all right. And that's why you're one of the people that got screwed over with that Mario Kart 8.
Oh, F you, no. I said I have higher standards because even if I was given the chance to buy something from Epic, I would turn it beeping away.
All right.
So excuse
but
me
anyway,
for having that standard.
All right.
Unlike
Okay.
You.
Okay. All right. Keep on.
Keep on.
Make your suppositions with no basis in reality. Go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't bother me.
I said that the Epic. When I said that I wouldn't support the Epic Store, I beeping mean it, and if anything, I keep on doing it to this day.
Yeah, but didn't I say when the Epic Store I said there's only one game I'm getting from the Epic Store. I remember when they announced the Epic Store, I'm like, there's one game I'm getting from the Epic Store because I like the company that makes that game and I want to support them. Obsidian. That was the Forgotten World. That was it.
For them when they got onto the Steam Store.
And wait a year to play essentially a Fallout New Vegas style RPG? No way.
I got a lot more standards than you then.
No. Listen. The big game that was supposed to launch the Epic Store was Borderlands 3. That was the big game that was supposed to be like, oh man, this is gonna be the seller for. And I waited till that game came to Steam to buy it. Waited. Did not buy it. Did not support it. Waited till it came to Steam. Then I bought it. So I mean, listen. You got to know where to draw the line. Okay, for me, I drew the line at supporting, because here's the thing, okay? Epic is foul, 2K is foul, Gearbox is foul. So me supporting Epic and 2K, 2K and Gearbox through Epic, that was a triple foul. Whereas with Obsidian, I like Obsidian. Obsidian has gotten a fucking raw deal over all these years. They're like basically, they're the really talented guy who just can't catch a break. They're like Honest Gil from The Simpsons. You know, Honest Gil, come on, Honest Gil needs a sale. Come on, help a guy out. And I decided to help him out. I didn't feel like, they've made some of the best games in the industry and they don't get credit for it because there's always like an aside next to the game. There's always an asterisk. They made KOTOR 3. KOTOR 3 is so much better than the original KOTOR, but they never get credit for it. You want to know why? Because KOTOR 2 it ends abruptly and it has quite a few bugs. But here's what people don't ever mention. The reason it has a lot of bugs is because they had to follow up after BioWare using the same engine they did to make KOTOR 2. And like BioWare had like 5 years to make the original Knights of the Old Republic. And it's a very paint by numbers Western style RPG. KOTOR 2 is a much better game in terms of concept and gameplay variety, but they only had a fucking year to get that game out. Same thing with New Vegas. Like, everyone's like, Fallout 3 is such a great game. Fallout 3, Bethesda had 6 years to make that game. Whereas Obsidian had a year to get out New Vegas, and they made a game that, on a technical level, yes, it has a lot of bugs, but in terms of gameplay and concepts and shit like that, much better than Fallout 3.
I need to play that game. I've heard so much good things about. I've heard more good things about New Vegas than I've heard about 3.
Well, 3 is kind of is shit. So why should I not support a studio that has actually made some really great games? That just always seems to get the short end of the stick. Why the fuck would I say fuck you and not help them out?
The thing is that you're having to go through Epic. So if anything, I'd at least hold my ground and.
I mean,
and
look,
pay
listen.
Through Steam there, and then go through Epic.
Look, I don't like Epic. I don't. Even though it's installed on my PC, I don't really like Epic. But I mean, like, is my dislike of Epic, does that outweigh my love of Obsidian? No. No, it does not.
If you support Obsidian through another means, I could go with that.
I do support Obsidian through other means. I literally bought multiple versions of all their games. Even the ones that aren't really that particularly good, like Alpha Protocol. I know a lot of people love that game. It's not that good. You know, like, so,
Wait, is that game that was published by Sega?
I don't know who Alpha Protocol was published by, but I do know that here, let me look it up. I do know it's basically a spy RPG made by Obsidian. Alpha Protocol publisher.
Oh, I think I might be thinking something else.
Yeah, it was Sega. You're right.
Oh, okay.
It was Sega.
Yeah.
And basically, that game, they basically had their funding halfway taken out, and it's a good game. I mean, it's a good, well, actually, no. It's not that great of a game. It's a good concept.
Yeah.
Right? So, I want them to be good. I want them to do well. I want them to make a lot of money. And I see that they get the short end of the stick. Like, half the time, they get the short end of the stick with their games. They get fucked over. They get, thrown down a flight of steps. But they make good games.
I mean, I've heard good things about Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, the first one's pretty good. The second one, not quite as much. But the first one's pretty good. But I love the Outer Worlds.
I saw the new DLC that's coming out at the Xbox event, and that DLC looks pretty good. So
I mean, it's Obsidian. Obsidian more often than not does make really good DLC for their games. Like, if you play Fallout New Vegas, all the pieces of DLC in New Vegas are good. Okay, they expand the lore, and they have good character development, and they're memorable.
Yeah.
Which isn't surprising because a lot of the people that made up Obsidian when that game was made were former Interplay people who are, the original creators of Fallout anyway. So it wasn't, you had people who were familiar with the lore, which is where Bethesda fucks up Fallout, is that no one at Bethesda is familiar with the goddamn lore. There's no lore person in charge of the shit, so they just throw shit down, just throw it out there. But anyway, yeah. So I guess that leads to my second unpopular opinion. I don't think people should, I don't think it's okay to have this holier than thou attitude about people who, just because you chose to do something that other people didn't.
Oh, being a trendsetter?
Just period. Okay, like this. Okay, right? I I'm not a fan of particular people in the industry. I'm a fan of studios, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, that's just what I like. You know, I'm a fan of you know, it's because here's the thing: people come and go, but if the studio philosophy is can be maintained, it's gonna last forever. It's like, you know, the people like okay, like I like Metroid 2: Samus Returns, but the people who made that game are gone. The guy who was the director of that game, he's dead. Gunpei Yokoi, he's dead. He's not around anymore. But does that mean does that mean I should stop loving the Metroid franchise? No. So, you know, but it is what it is. Anyone,
Yeah.
yeah, anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we wrap things up? Any other topics that are of import that they want to? Anyone have a rant?
I honestly think Nintendo might in a way be going down the same path they went with the Wii. Maybe not quite.
You mean
Well, at
getting
least for me,
complacent
no.
and just putting out shit?
Yeah, becoming complacent, putting out. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a fair amount of shuffleware on the system, but I mean, I might disagree, but I just don't think it's as quite egregious as it was with the Wii.
I mean,
but that's.
here's the thing: the
I
Wii
think
had
give it
some.
another year.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the Wii had some really great games on it too. The
Yeah.
Switch, I haven't seen a game on the Switch yet that makes me say this is a truly great experience that could have only been experienced on the Switch. Like, where's the Red Steel 2s? Where's the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Where's the Twilight Princess on the Wii? Where's the Conduit 1 and 2? Where's the, you know, like where's the GoldenEye? Like there's some really good there are legitimately some good third-party games on the Wii. I'm not seeing that on the Switch.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing like, oh my god, this is like a really great game on the I'm not seeing really great. I'm not seeing like, oh my god, this is like one of the best games I've ever played. Games on the first party games on the Switch either. But that's subjective. Cuz I know some people really love a lot of the games Nintendo's come out with on the Switch. But I'm not feeling it. So,
That's what happens.
yeah, you know,
I
shit
just don't
happens.
feel-
That's my personal opinion. I know some
I
people are
mean,
going to disagree and get angry because people always get mad all the goddamn time.
That's how I felt about the PS3. I was heavy in the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and then they dropped the PS3. It's like, what's going on?
I'm going to keep it real. The PlayStation 3 didn't really take off until about 3 years into its life cycle.
Yeah.
It took about
Yeah.
3 years for that console to get good.
And the sad thing about the PS3 is they had to take away stuff to track down the cost.
Yeah,
to
personally,
actually sell it.
yeah, they were like, well, because they wanted, because Sony was like, we need to sell this format. That's where they fucked up. They should have been like, personally, I would rather have I would have rather had a PS3 that wasn't a Blu-ray player and played that was fully backwards compatible than having a Blu-ray player with no backwards compatibility. Because here's the thing: when streaming came through, no one is fucking carrying around a huge library of shit.
No, I mean, I think one of the reasons Sony entered the console war.
Well, it's to sell
Well,
CDs. Yeah, it's about the
Yeah,
formats. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Trojan horse for their formats.
And that's why they fucked up, in my opinion. Because, like, me personally, I don't want to. And I know this is going to sound kind of bad, but me personally, I don't want to fucking.
I mean, how many people bought a PlayStation and PlayStation 2 just purely for the format?
Well, I
The
mean.
The PS3 was, the cheapest Blu-ray player out there when it first came out.
Well, I mean, here's what I think. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people got a PS1 for the games initially, and here in America. I don't know about other places, but here in America, I think that was the case.
Which PlayStation had the highest attach rate? You think it was the PS1?
I think it was the PS2.
PS2?
PS2, because the thing about the PS2 was that the PS2 library had games that were literally like you had people who maybe had one or two genres, but they bought a lot of games for those genres for the game. Like I know for me with my PS2, I had lots of JRPGs, so many JRPGs. Like I had, oh god, I had 3 Tales games for the PS2. I had no 4 Tales games for the PS2. I had like all the Monokamiya games. I had all of the Arno Seal games. I had all of the like really obscure shit, the Disgaea titles. Like I played a lot of games on that system. So, you know.
Yeah.
So that's it. Anyone have anything else they want to say before we wrap things up?
I think I'm alright.
All right. Okay, Kenoshi, anything you want to pimp up before we wrap things up?
No, that's it.
Okay, then. So that's the end of this podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. You can reach the channel a lot of ways, but we've got Discord, we've got emails, we've got all types of awesome shit, which I haven't put up there because I'm trying to do too many things at the same time because I fuck up like that sometimes because I'm human. So basically,
Slow down if you need to.
well, I'm also trying to order some dinner at the same time. So in order to get in touch with the channel, you'd reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com, or you can @ me on Twitter. I will respond. If I don't check Twitter all the time, I check it about twice a week. You can also talk to me through the Discord. That's in this podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace. Good night.